I didn't have the right equipment and I didn't even know where to start from, but I started anyway. So my name is Nesta Abolga. I'm a self-taught graphic designer living in Ghana. So I started this journey because I loved the fact that there was some kind of cool stuff you can actually do. When I look at how I fell in love with this whole game, it's actually funny because it goes back to my senior high school, where there was this guy who brought his phone to the school. Even though at that time phones weren't allowed to be used in school, so during the weekends we were out there in the school compound one evening and having fun. He brought out his phone and started editing his own picture where he was changing patterns of the shirts, adding designs, and I was like, whoa bro, how is all this possible? Because this is kind of cool. And he told me the name of the application, which was PixArt. And yeah, after school, when my parents got me my first phone, I installed the application and I started exploring. That is basically how it started. I didn't even know it would get to a point where I would be making money out of this stuff, and be where I am today. So the fact that I'm able to help businesses with their branding and then all this stuff is kind of like cool. You get to meet new people, especially my contact list these days are just full of business owners, which is kind of wild because bro, tell me what you'll not be doing without business owners. There's a saying that goes like, if you are part of a group of rich people, you are the next rich person. So why not? Positivity. So even though in my early days when I was in class 5, my dad bought me my first ever computer. And at that point, there was nothing like learning a skill from this computer, but then it was just about practicing what they taught us in school and mostly playing games. This Zuma Deluxe, Mavis Beacon, and all that. But I never knew it was actually building me to something better. At a point, the computer got spoiled. When I was done with SHS, I didn't have the computer anymore, but then I had my phone. The guy was using an iPhone back at SHS when I saw him doing it. And the Android phone I was using over there, that was the Itel S22. And the Android phone I was using back then, it wasn't that strong enough to be able to do the interesting things my guy used to do with his iPhone 5 by then. But anyways, it was kind of smooth too. I learned something. If I find my early days edits, some of them I'll put them on here so that you guys can check it out. At that point I didn't have time for data, buying data and all that was too expensive to me. But if I had known and if I had invested in buying data and watching a lot of videos, I think I would have gone in very early as to the content creation as well. But I used just to do edits on my phone and post it on my status on WhatsApp, and that was it. It wasn't anything huge or anything big. And some friends who loved what I did by then would contact me on WhatsApp and be like, yo, I love this edit, can you edit this my picture? And then they'll forward it to me. And excited as I was, I used to edit them for free because bro, I'm creative and you know how fun it is to be able to do something that is impressive to your friends. So without expecting anything, I used to just edit them and do my best on them and send it back to them. When they post it on their status, I'm always happy. I'm like, yo, I did this. And it got to the point where it was time for me to go to the university. And you know, over there, it's not all the time your parents can be socketing you monies like that. So they used to do their best. But sometimes I would call and they would be like, yo, relax, bro. And I'm like, yo, the guy needs money. Like, I need coins. I need to do things. It actually touched me sometime and I was like, what if I start doing something with what I know already that can actually earn me something? So in case they are unable to send fast, at least I have something to support myself. And at that point too, it was actually approaching this election period in schools. So I decided to go to YouTube. There was actually free Wi-Fi in the school, so I connected. I used not to buy data, bro. What am I going to use my data for? So I connected this Wi-Fi and I went on YouTube and I searched, and it was kind of making sense because the tool I had, which I was using to do photo manipulation before, now could design flyers. I was like, wow, meaning this can actually make me money. No problem, let's try it. So I started editing some flyers for free for some of my friends to even, I think at a point I would just get one of my friends and be like, save the date, and I add a random girl, bro. I used to do things just for fun. That is how wild I was getting into the creativity game without knowing I could actually make cool cash out of this. So I was just actually doing it for fun. So I can say from 2018, that was the time I fell in love with design. And fast forward 2022, 2023 was the time I actually started doing some kind of good designs bit by bit. I wasn't actually perfect by then, but I was good. And if I'm going to talk about the time I started making good money out of this whole design thing, is when I was done with my national service and I was unemployed in January 2025 till date, which is December 2025. And the only thing that has kept me going or been putting coins in my pockets, and that is what I've been able to use to support myself ever since I got out of my national service till now. I'm actually not where I want to be currently, but looking back, I think there's been some growth, and I cannot force that because growth doesn't just happen once in a day. It takes time, and I understand, and I'm still following the process and trusting it. So hopefully we will get there. But from the beginning of this year, I thought of taking this whole content creation serious, which didn't actually happen because I kept a lot of work on me, and that is my fault anyways. But moving forward, hopefully I'll be able to do something creative, and as I'm building a community here, hopefully I'm able to make new friends and a whole lot of things. I'm able to grow my TikTok to over 9,000 followers. Maybe next year we'll enter 10,000. Until then, we keep the grind alive. So if you're anyone who is creative out there and you feel you are in love with all these stuff, please just start. It doesn't matter what you have and what you don't have. I think with time I will tell you how I've been able to build where I have gotten to now and some of the equipment and tools I use. So just start with what you have. The dream would grow as you grow. So I am building this community for anyone who is chasing his or her dreams with anything you've got. So if you are starting your creative journey just as I am, you can leave it in the comment section. I'm starting so that we grow together. See you guys in the next video.